You finally done it. After several years of labor, working very hard, Monday all through Saturday, you finally been rewarded to manage a team. As much as this is a breakthrough, a testimony can also be your worst nightmare, especially if you were not built for it. It's just going to be like you were dropped in an ocean and you're just trying to learn how to swim. You were not trained to swim. If you're not careful, it's going to drown you. Any business can get anything wrong, but not when it comes to managers. Bad managers, bad business. Are you a manager? You cannot afford to miss this part of this talk. I'll be teaching you what you need to know if you won't drown in the ocean, if you will survive the next phase of your career as a manager. It's a must know, and you must pay rapt attention. So, the first thing, all managers, either new or you've been old, like I call people that are old, we call them old school. Some managers are already old school and they're displaying ABS. I call it adult baby syndrome. You remaining as the superstar, the star performer will get you fired. I've seen managers that probably you were a sales manager, you're a salesperson, and you're given a target to bring $1 million. But now you've been promoted as the manager, so you're going to be given a target to manage 10 people, but they'll give you 10 million. Now, if you're a manager and you survive, you pushed, and you delivered 1 million very well, and your team cumulative performance is 2 million, that means cumulatively, including yours, you deliver 3 million out of 10 million, you will get fired. You must think management as entirely a new ball game. Just imagine you were playing basketball before, you're playing baseball before, now you're playing football. New rules, new performance measure, new standards. So we must get that out of our head, that being a star performer will get you fired. The second thing you need to know as a new manager or an old manager that needs to upskill is that you must adapt your leadership style to your team's maturity. You must be a chameleonic manager, someone that understands team maturity and see how to work with your team. Don't forget, every member of your team might be different from you or will be different from you. And they have a different work style, different things, the way they do their stuff. But the most important thing as a manager now is you're driving for results. You're not looking at how this person does his job. It's possible that somebody will listen to music while he's getting the job done, and you like being in a graveyard environment while getting things done. But all you're concerned about now is getting things done, not shouting over why you're using headphones, why you're dancing to music. The fact is, you cannot try to duplicate yourself on everyone. You must ensure you improve your own leadership maturity to be adaptive. Now, you find some team members that when you tell them you cannot do it, they want to prove to you that they can do it. And you have some team members, when you tell them you cannot do it, they will go flat and they won't be able to do it. And it's possible that you as a manager, you like people prepping you that you can do it. That's where you get to do things. That's why you're using that communication style with your team by telling them you can do it. And you're wondering why this team member, when you tell the person that you can do it, the person just goes flat. It's because you're using your own most preferred leadership style to lead other people. As leaders, you must have that maturity to be able to adapt your leadership style to each individual team's maturity. And they can be very diverse, but that's what you need to know. So the third thing you need to know is that people love structure and guidance. In the last 20 years of their life, they've been guided, especially if you're from Africa, they've been guided by parents, and some people are still being told what to do till 45. Some they are 35. They're still telling them what not to do, what to do. So when you inherit these people in the workplace, you need to give structure and guide them. Over time, when they get matured, you can start releasing the structure. You can start easing off on the structure, but you must guide them and set guidance, rules of how things should go, and teach them. Don't forget, they've been under structure for 20, 30 years of their life. You taking it out once will lead to a chaotic workplace, and that's what you don't want. The fourth thing all new managers must also know is that putting in too much of structure and too much of guidance can also kill them. They will stop using their brain. Everything they will come to meet you. Why? Because you've allowed them learn how to drop their monkeys on you. They now start delegating thinking to their managers, and they suspend their thinking and keep it on a tree very close to their house, especially when they're coming to work, because they know that this workplace I'm going, nothing happens. I don't used to use my brain. Whenever I need to use my brain, I go to my manager and I go and tell them. And that's why so many managers are overwhelmed, because for everything that happens in the workplace, too much of guidance and structure will make them sink. So you want people to fix their monkey. So how do you do this? When people come to report things to you, you ask them questions like, so what do you think we should do? They must always come with solutions. And that's how you train them. And sometimes you might have to engage in participative leadership style over time with them. But you just don't want them to come and everything you're now feeling, especially if you've been suffering from power from where you came from. You like everybody following you all around so that you have no brain, following you only one brain. If only one brain is one running the company, then your company will not grow, will not do well. So you must know when to ease the structure. Look at children. So many times after you've put guidance and structure, at sometimes of their life, they want to be free. They want you to believe in them. They want you to not to be too strict, and at the end of the day, you have matured kids as children when you can only ease up. And the same way, you have people that are already several years with you as a manager, and they are still looking up to you for everything. You don't want that to happen. And you must know this. Too much of structure can sink the ship of your team. The fifth thing managers need to know is that you should allow your team lead in their own areas of competence. Just set the direction and let them figure out how to get there. All you want to do is you want to leave excellent. You want to make sure your company is excellent. What do? Let them figure out how to get there with little guidance, but make sure you allow them empty themselves into their roles. And if you're a manager that you are the one that knows everything, you have all solutions, then you don't have a team, because you actually lead yourself. You need people that will bring their mind, that will be their best shot, and together, being diverse, we can make something happen. Don't forget, together, everyone can achieve more. If you allow them play at their best, in their own most best, if you allow them play, that is if you allow them be themselves in their own area, in their zone. Every worker has their zone. So if you allow them play in the area of zone, then they will contribute more to your team. So number 6 is you should ensure you schedule regular meetings, update meetings. It's not meant to be long. That's why I love Scrum. Scrum talks about stand-up meetings, 15 minutes. Understand what they've been up to, where are they, what are they doing presently. You must do it consistently. And you must find time to also do one-on-one updates. Know the pain points, know the challenges of the team. And some managers will say, how will I have time to do it? That means you have too many people reporting to you. You need to go and restructure and make sure your span of control is smaller. Because if you have a lot of people, you have to do one-on-one, you're afraid, then you have to restructure to ensure people that report to you want to know the updates. You want to know how they're faring. You want to know what they are doing. You want to know what they intend to do. You must create time for this consistent meeting. I call it majorly taking the pulse of the team, knowing what they're doing, knowing what they're saying. Even when you don't have anything to say, just that session will make you know whether your team is still healthy or they are just not sick or they are sick. The seventh one, or the seventh thing that all managers must know is that you must listen well to your team and always trust them. You know, most times I was in a conference one day and the manager said, please, you've said a lot of good things about the team. What if my team was sent to me from the pit of hell, whereby they were sent to me to make me fail? You know one thing? You not trusting your team is a different ballgame to having a bad set of team. So you fixing the team composition is different from you not trusting your team. What will you do alone? I started by talking about you cannot achieve your own goal alone, because if you achieve your own goal alone, you get fired. So even when you've done your part is when everyone does their part. And there's no way you can achieve that without trusting them. The eighth thing all managers must know is that you must be positive and optimistic. Most times I tell people when we are in meetings, your team, they need to take that energy from you. So when the leader is flat, then the team will lack energy. I remember what we call in physics, we call it resonance. Resonance is a state whereby a body can set other bodies vibrating without actual contact. So as a manager, you must be upbeat. There cannot be days you come in and say, I'm tired, I don't think this goal can be achieved. If you do that, you're finished. So all managers must always be upbeat. In fact, it's a sin when you're not optimistic, when your team cannot take from your energy and fly. Things happen, shit happens, so many things that can discourage you as a manager will also happen, but they must not get into your heart. You must be upbeat, you must guard your heart as a manager so that negative things will not get in. You must constantly be positive and always optimistic. How you're gonna figure that out is left to your self-development, to your emotional intelligence, how to coordinate yourself in the midst of adversity as a manager. But whatever you're going to do about it, you must stay positive and optimistic always as a manager. As a manager, your job is to make your people successful. That's your major goal. You cannot celebrate, and I've said this over and over again, the strength of your team determines the strength of the manager. If your team is not doing great, there's nothing to rejoice. There's nothing to celebrate. So your major goal as a manager is to make sure you build whatever it's going to take. If it's going to take mentoring, if it's going to take coaching, if it's going to take training, if it's going to take disciplining, but you cannot abandon your team. You must make sure they are successful. What determines whether you're a great manager is the success of your team or the success of the team you manage. The 10th point all managers must know, either you're new or old, you must constantly build your leadership and management capacity. Because we keep giving every time you're pushing your team. Who will push the manager? That means if the manager doesn't keep upskilling, you'll get to a point that you'll be flat and there's nothing again. And don't forget, because new organizational goals demand new management skill. So at different point in time, as your company is growing, as the organization you work for is growing, it's time to also grow in your leadership and management capabilities. And I can tell you, this is a lifelong commitment. If you don't do it, you start going down. So guess I've been able to help you, to share the things you must know as a manager. A man who does not use has no advantage over a man who does not know. So knowledge becomes power if you apply all these things. But basically, these are 10 tips I feel I should share with you that is a must know for all managers that want to thrive and that want to survive and don't want to drown in the ocean ahead of them. See you some other time.
Seed Academy, your growth partner.